Hey guys, and welcome to the 30 Days to Happiness podcast. Today we have someone that I have been actually following on Instagram for a while. I think it's been like a few years, and he just popped up. And the difference between Jaxon and another influencer was that you were doing something different. You were posting affirmations on your story. You were actually talking about mental health. Like, you were actually completely different. And that I was like, oh, okay. Like, I've actually never seen this before. So I think that's what draws a lot of people to you. So look, I'm so excited to have you on this podcast because I know you've been through a lot and now you're doing a lot, and I just want to hear all about it and how can people leverage off what you're currently doing and what you've been through. And thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks, Holly, for having me on. Thanks for sending me your book. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
That's actually one of my next goals is to do my own book. But
Yep.
I don't know, it's a bit overwhelming in the head when you think about writing a whole book. Like, I don't know, like, did it take you long? Like, there's a lot of structure that goes into it, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. It's actually the number one question I'm getting asked at the moment is like, oh, I really want to write a book.
Yeah.
I really want to do this. How did you start? Can I get some advice? And the number one thing is like you have to know like what's the initiative, like what's the actual book going to help people with. Like, that's the number one thing. And then if you ever start, write the title, write the names of the chapters, and then everything else will just flow. And then through your creative time that you have throughout the week or, when you get a spurt of revelation, then that's your time to write. And that is how you write a really good book, I believe.
I was going to ask you though, did you have like a publisher?
I was self-published for this book, but for my next book, I'm going to do something a little bit different, which will...
Because I've had like no joke, like 5, I don't know anything about publishing and books. I'll be straight up. I've had like 5 big publishing pages reach out to me and they're like, we see what you're doing. We want to help you write a book, but I'm not sure if they're trying to like leverage off me. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So totally. I don't know, but my goal is to write a book and pretty much just explain my story. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, totally. No, you should, because you have such a great story and it needs to be shared. But yeah, you just got to do your research in relation to publishers and like if I didn't have like the people I had surrounded by me, like telling me, oh, you should do this, you should market it this way, this and that, it would be a total flop and there would probably no way that we'd be talking right now because I have no clue what I was doing. But anyway, look, let's get down into it because I want to hear more about you, your story, where you've come from and where you are now. So where did you come from and where are you now? What led you to this moment?
How far do you want me to go back?
Go back to a point in your life where you're like, okay, that was really significant.
Significant where I changed?
Sure.
Yeah, so, there's so much to talk about, but where I was in my life to where I am now was all contributed to steroids, not actually going to jail, and seeing more light in my future and just seeing more ahead of me than, dying, jail, health-related issues, depression, etc. So, basically, very, very in short, when I didn't actually go to jail for having illegal drugs on me, that was the big turnaround in my life. Obviously my family too. Those two were the biggest conflicts of why I've now moved on from that life. And I'm now, speaking so openly on multiple platforms, and I've got my own podcasts and just trying to help people in general, not just steroids, that it all combines with mental health, with mindset, depression. It all relates into each other. Do you know what I mean? And it all ties into my online coaching, and then that ties into the podcast, and then that ties into my platform. So that's where I am now. And I'm just trying to basically, in a nutshell, help people.
Yeah.
So
it's obviously a purpose and a mission and a passion, which is so, so important because that's the reason you wake up every morning, right? There has to be a burning desire for something.
Yeah.
Otherwise you won't get up, right? So where did you grow up and what kind of led you to this past lifestyle?
Yeah, so I grew up in Melbourne. I actually grew up on a farm.
Wow.
So a bit different to here. And just your normal kid, just very active, into sport, raised very strict and healthy and all of that, which probably led me into all of this body-related image kind of issues early on. That makes sense because I was so... What I put in my body, how I exercise, all led to how I look. And then when I jumped on a platform, Instagram, that led me to wanting to look like other people that looked better than me, if that makes sense. And it was like a toxic body dysmorphia relationship world that I was in for probably 6 years.
Wow.
So yeah.
So 6 whole years. And what was that whole 6 years like? Like every day when you woke up, every time you went to the gym, like what was your mentality?
Yeah, that's a good question. I've never been asked that. My mentality was I didn't care about anyone. My mentality was to look as good as I could.
Yeah.
Basically through killing myself in the gym, injecting steroids, eating as good as I could, and trying to impress people. And that was literally my perception when I woke up, and which is fucked, but that's literally when I woke up, that was like, okay, that's my goals for the day. If I crack that, I don't care about anything else.
Yeah, so that's it. And it's just like a self-esteem thing, and obviously there was something maybe a little bit further back in your childhood that triggered that as well, maybe.
Yeah.
Do you still struggle with, I guess, any kind of insecurities or self-esteem?
Yeah, I think we all do. I think everyone does in life. Definitely not to an extent of what I used to. But yeah, you still, obviously with my platform and the fact that there's so many eyes on you, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I think you still want to perform and you still want to look good. You know what I mean? Like it's always going to be like, oh, who's watching or what? But I don't, in the same token, I don't care about what other people think majority of the time, but there's still that odd time. It's like, okay, let's watch what we're doing, or do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, but you can't let, haters ruin your life, because, we always say it, like there's always going to be them. I've tried to impress everyone in my life back in the day, and you're always going to have someone that doesn't like you or doesn't take your opinion the right way. So you can't let that, come to your heart. That's on them. It's not on you. So yeah.
Yeah, and what's that saying? And it's like you can try and impress everyone, but there'll always be that 1%, and you'll never be happy because you'll never impress that 1%.
It's actually crazy when you think about it. Like when you say, like, it's true, you will never impress everyone. So what is the point? Like you may as well just do what makes you happy and be who you are, and then the right people will come into your life.
That's it, and you manifest it along the way 100%. And I think it's such a personal development journey, and mindset and belief systems. So I guess you went through a 6-year period of, having maybe low self-esteem, trying to impress people. And then what happened and what changed?
Yep. So when I attended my last court case to go to jail, I didn't go to jail. My family was, my parents were about to split up just due to the stress and everything, with my health-related issues, how I was treating them, the situation I was in. And that combined with not going to jail and just seeing like my health deteriorate and just everything kind of crumble, I was like, I need to make a change. You know what I mean? And I like, obviously I didn't make a change that day. Like it wasn't like, I'm from this to that. Like it was a period. It took time. It was very hard. But yeah, I did change from that point in time onwards. And I feel like I've only just kind of every single day, I've only gotten a little bit better, or, steered away from that life a little bit more. Probably the past, 3 years.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So how long were you in the drug scene for?
Like steroids.
Yeah. Was there anything else?
Yeah. So before that, I was not into gym, and I was like the party, like, but that was young. Like, I think I started like drinking and doing drugs at like 15, just because I thought it was cool.
Yep.
And I was like, like literally, like I was like, oh my God, like I'm going to have a smoke. I think I'm cool. Like that was my mentality. And then that led me into, I was actually like nearly anorexic before the steroid days.
Wow.
So, and then I got like the body dysmorphia and I wanted to put on muscle. So I went into the steroid regime, but that was 6 years straight.
Yeah. Wow.
Like literally didn't get off once. So it was pretty harmful.
And how do you kind of get off that? Like did you have any symptoms or like?
Oh, 100%. Yeah. I was that close to being on dialysis for my kidneys.
Wow.
My liver was ruined. I was seeing a cardiomyopathy for my heart. I was in and out of hospital. Yeah, it was bad. Like I was going to die. And yeah, just basically the health, the fact that I didn't want to be in prison, and the fact that my family was just going through heartache, that's all I needed to change. And yes, it was extremely hard to change, but those three things, like, if that doesn't make you change, then I don't think anything will in life.
Yeah, and usually people don't make a change until something really significant in their life happens, and it emotionally will trigger them to take action. Like, just like two of my clients this week, they'll be with me for a while, and you probably do the same thing with your online personal training clients. And sometimes they don't literally take action. They will be on your program for 8 weeks, and they will not actually get it until they're like, all right, I'm ready. It's been 8 weeks already and I've been trying, but now I'm ready. And something switches in their brain because they watched a video or they heard someone say something, or they looked in the mirror and started crying. And that significant moment will make a change in people's lives. But the thing is, like, a lot of us will just have to wait for that specific moment.
Yeah.
Because it's just revelation, right? You can't make a change without any kind of revelation or initiative. So what do people most misunderstand about you?
Who I am?
Yeah, on social media, who you are. Like,
like who I am. Like, that's what they misunderstand. Okay. Like, they judge me off my image. They don't actually understand who I am. They don't have a conversation with me. They don't know the person I am. Like, I'm literally probably right now, I wasn't, but I'm probably the complete opposite to what you're looking at, if that makes sense.
Yeah, wow.
So, like, the typical ones are, bikey, like, never been a bikey. Drug dealer, like, obviously used to be that, but, couldn't think of anything worse now. Like, I obviously got 3 businesses of myself, or like fuckboy, which is the other one. And like, I can't even remember the last time I slept around. Like, and I'm just being honest. So it's probably the 3 opposites of what I'm actually doing. And, even just angry, like criminal. And it's like, no, like, I'm so placid. Like, I hate fighting, like all of that type of stuff. So pretty much the opposite of what you see. Yeah.
Wow, that is so interesting because I guess when I first started following you on social media, that's what I saw. I was like, all right, the physical persona is different to who you actually really are.
Yeah.
And I'm very intuitive with, I guess, I don't know, I can sense when someone's actually different or like they're going to do well or this and that. And that's just something that I did notice.
Yeah. I pick up energy big time too, like you, but there's so many people that don't, and they just, that quick glance and they'll just judge, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's it. And I think as well, like when you go through, things, when it's related to self-esteem and you're in an environment where people are non-judgmental, it makes you realize how judgmental the world actually is. Like, not just on social media, but in person and just, at the grocery shops and in day-to-day life. Yeah. And it's actually a habit. It's a habit to judge someone straight away. And sometimes we can't help it because our brains just trigger something specific. But what have you done? I guess, what are the steps if someone is really struggling with body image at the moment? They're feeling judged in the gym. I know specific men, a lot of them don't like going to the gym because they feel their self-esteem's quite low. They don't feel confident lifting the weights that maybe other people are. They don't like the environment in the gym, or they simply, go to other sources of drugs or whatever else to try and look as best they can. What would you say to those people? Like, what's the first step to kind of gaining your confidence?
Change your circle.
Yeah.
Because if you're that type of person that's thinking like that, it's probably who you're surrounding yourself with. If you're surrounding yourself with people that, like, they don't judge, all of this type of stuff, like they're into different things, you're probably not going to think like that. But you just got to basically tell yourself that you're never going to be, as strong as that person in the gym, or you're never going to look as good as that person. You are your own unique self. And that's like a gift in itself. And I think you embrace your own beauty. Do you know what I mean? Like, you embrace your flaws even. Like, we're all beautiful in our own way. And if you just pick out everything and just start comparing, you're going to be unhappy from the day, you're born till the day you die. Because you're always going to compare. We're always going to be on social media. We're always going to be looking up to celebrities, etc. So, basically you just got to come to realization that you're never going to be the biggest and best at whatever it is in the world, to an extent, and just be the best version that you can be, and that's all you can be.
Yeah, I love that. And
Yeah.
it's so interesting until you actually realize and understand like self-love. That's a whole nother ball game. And
Yeah.
so it doesn't matter what you look like. You can actually fully accept and love yourself no matter what you look like.
Yeah.
It took me a long time to get there.
Yeah.
I remember my significant change was like I looked in the mirror and I literally just cried. And I was like, oh, I hate the way I look, blah, blah, blah. And then, you know, like I started like pretty much the 30 habits in my book, you know, the smiling, the affirmations when I went for walks, and it changed it and reconstructed my whole subconscious mind to now love myself and who I am and my personality. And once I found my purpose and etc. So I think, you know, it's the daily habits and finding that self-love, no matter, like I can look at myself in the mirror and be like, all right, well, you know, this didn't look the way it used to, or I don't have abs anymore.
Yeah.
But I still love myself, you know, because you actually know who you are. Like,
yeah,
and that's interesting.
it's a powerful tool, and it's something that, you know, many people listening will actually never achieve. Like they'll never love themselves. You know, they'll die not loving themselves, and it's sad. And you probably heard my last one my last podcast I put up where I was in the mirror talking about, like, you know, how I used to pick my flaws, and now I tell myself I'm beautiful, and that all come from Trav. Like he told me that, he taught me that on a podcast, and I implemented it and it changed my life. So it's crazy. Like all these little habits, they make a massive difference.
Oh, they so do.
Yeah.
Now let's go on the topic of mental health. I know you posted on your story, and I just thought it was really courageous of you to do so. You're like, you know what, I had, you know, didn't feel good this morning. I, you know, I lost my purpose a bit, etc. And you shared that with all your followers. And
was that yesterday? Yeah.
Yeah, a few days ago. I can't actually remember. But then you say, like, you know, the 2 simple habits, right? Exercise, listen to a good podcast, you know, feed your soul and your mind positive things, and it change your whole outlook for the day, right?
Yeah.
So I'm sure, like, you know, if you've had a past, like we all go through up and down days, but what are the daily habits that completely changed, I guess, from the old you to who you are now, and overcoming any kind of mental health?
Yeah, the affirmations in the mirror when I wake up, you know, telling myself I'm beautiful, I'm worthy, I'm loved. That step in itself, I learned off Cooper Chapman to write down 3 things I'm grateful for, everything in the morning, and then end it at night. 3 things I was grateful for during the day.
Yeah, that's cool.
And then just little basic things, like I just tell everyone, exercise. Like I know it's so simple, but there's so many people that they literally sit down, you know, every hour of the day. They don't move their body. The body is designed to move, to get blood in it, to, you know, the heart is designed to pump at a faster beat and then go back to normal. It shouldn't just stay the same, you know, year in, year out. And what you put in your body, like I'm not saying you have to go eat this super strict bodybuilding diet, but you should nourish your body with good foods. Do you know what I mean? Like you shouldn't just be eating takeaway and packet food 24/7 while having cigarettes and drugs. And these are just honestly the 3 most simple steps. If you just watch what you put in your mouth to an extent, and you get up and you move your body and exercise, like your life changes. Like but then you start to look at who you surround yourself with and what you listen to on a day-to-day basis, like podcasts and stuff like that. And then you add in, like, there's all little things that you can add in on from there. And it's like, it's actually kind of never ending. You can always implement something that will benefit you to excel your day. And there's just so many things that's like, it's crazy. Do you know what I mean?
100%. So what's the toughest thing you've ever gone through, and how did you overcome that?
Oh, man. Getting off steroids. Yeah. Definitely the hardest thing I've ever done. How to overcome it? Oh, man. Just seeing the fact that I didn't want to be the person that I saw in the past. And do you know what I mean? Like, so when I was trying to get off it, like after my last court case, I would go back in the gym and I'd be like, okay, well, maybe I just use a bit more. And then, you know, when I was like, I would even go buy like another bottle of testosterone and just about to inject it. And then I'd be like, just triggers would play in my head. And I'd be like the jail, or like, me with like on dialysis, or my parents split up, and I was just, that's all I needed. It just, those little triggers. I was like, I just have to stay off. And I think it took 6 goes.
Wow.
Like I went,
Well done.
and this was after the 6 years, like 6
Well done.
yo-yos. And then I suppose it's like any habit. Like once you're actually off and you're getting a little bit more comfortable with your body and that, the rest just went into play, and I never looked back. So
yeah, wow. Isn't it amazing how powerful to have a deep why is?
Yeah.
Imagine if you didn't have that why and you didn't have that revelation and that trigger. Like what would be the thing to stop you?
Well, that's the thing. That's why there's so many people out there that they're just addicted to drugs year round. You know what I mean? They don't have a purpose in life, so they don't really care. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
A lot of the people don't even have their parents around. They don't have family. So they're like, I've got nothing that I need to get off this for. There's no, you know what I mean?
There's no reason, yeah.
So, and they're chasing that high, so they just want to stay on it. So there's a lot of people that, they suffer, but this is why I think we need to speak about it. Do you know what I mean?
100%. I actually, on the way here, I was listening to, I don't know if you know Ed Millett.
Yeah.
I love that guy.
Yeah, he's awesome.
So amazing.
Yeah.
Anyway, listened to one of his podcasts, and it was about suicide prevention. Not sure if you listened to it.
Yeah.
And it was just, I literally started tearing up. I was literally going to like just cry, and I was like, oh my gosh, the miracle. It's just about this. If anyone is listening, I suggest you go watch it. It's suicide prevention. I don't know what episode it is, but it's a new one on Ed Millett's podcast. Oh my gosh, it was just so amazing. And it was pretty much about like one of the 99.9% guys who dropped, I can't remember what bridge it was. Not Story Bridge, Golden Gate Bridge. Golden Gate Bridge. Yeah, and he jumped off, and like he literally goes to commit suicide, and his whole story and his whole persona behind it and blah, blah, blah. But it was a miracle because he
didn't die.
Seal. There was this, I'm spoiling it for everyone, but there's this seal at the bottom that kept him alive and pushed him up. And that was just a miracle. And then the lady on the bridge actually called someone because she saw him jump off, and it was actually a guy who was like, the boat situation down below security or whatever, came and saved. It's just like the whole everything that happened for a reason. Yeah. And he is supposed to be here today. So anyway, that was just such an encouraging podcast to listen to. So just to let you know that you are on this earth for an absolute purpose. Yeah, and that's what I say to a lot of people. I'm like, I believe, and that's all that matters. I believe that there's a reason, that I didn't go to jail, I didn't die, etc. because I am doing what I am now, and I just believe everything happens for a reason. So 100%. So now, what's your mission and what's your purpose in life? Just to help people. Just to help people live a better life. Help people through my mistakes, I suppose. Because if I can help people through my mistakes and give them the right knowledge, then whether they take it on or not, that's on them. But it's definitely changed a lot of people's lives, in the past couple of months, and just help people, and just to put the message out there for people to know that that they are worthy. Everyone can do what they want in life. You know what I mean? A lot of people don't think they can do certain things because of situations. Yeah. But you can do whatever you want. And it's a perfect example with, I like to go back to business. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to work a 9-to-5 job. I guess if I could say that to anyone out there, you don't have to work for a boss for the rest of your life, 9 to 5. You can work your own. I guarantee you 90% of people go, oh, I'd love to be my own boss. I'd love to. Yeah. But why don't they do it? Because they're scared of failure. You know what I mean? Yeah. They're scared to take a risk, and they're just so comfortable in the situation they're in. But it's just crazy. But then they don't like their life. But then they don't make a change. You know what I mean? And it's just, I just want to just give my knowledge and my personal experience and just kind of spread it to the world. Yeah. Well said. I love that. That's good. No, you have a deeper why behind your purpose, and I love that. So look, one thing I've noticed is that I feel like you're really good at reaching out to people, but that you have such a large network and probably, a good quality group of friends now. But how do you know when to reach out to someone? Like, for example, if you, like for me, if I it's all intuitive. So if I go, I need to reach out and talk to this person today, there's a reason behind that. If I need to send this person my book, then there's a reason behind that. So how do you go reaching out to, like, when you've got such a large network? I do it
the exact same as you.
Okay.
Like I do get like a signal like, oh, I got to check in on that client, or I just feel like I haven't touched base with him for a while or her. But then it's the opposite where some days I just go check in on people. I just show a bit of love.
Yeah,
like
I love that.
I don't care who it is, like, because I just know that 9 times out of 10 it might make their day, or it could spark a smile on their face or something. So it is intuitive, like, most of the time. But then there's days where it's just like, I don't care if I don't know you. I don't care what you look like. I'm just going to, as long as it resonates, like they might put up a story or a post and I'm just like, yeah, why not just fucking congratulate them? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, I just think the world needs more of it. So
yeah, and that's it. Like I can't remember where I heard this. It was a long time ago, but it was like, as soon as you get that intuitive feeling or desire to, congratulate someone or comment on their post or reach out to someone, give them a call, or smile at that person, and you don't do it, that's a reason, there was a reason you were supposed to do it.
Yeah.
And that's why it's so important that you know who you are, that you are intuitive with those kinds of things. And how do you think, I guess, being intuitive, like I think it's it can be a long process when you don't understand, being really connected with, I guess you could even say like manifesting things, and being in the right place at the right time. Like, how did you start getting really intuitive with being, I guess, and living in purpose and being your authentic self?
Just trusting your gut. Like,
yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I don't think there's really an answer to that. It's just like whatever you feel at that point in time, you deliver or you express.
Yeah, I love
Do you
that.
know what I mean? Like, there's so many people that they go against the grain with things, but if you truly go back, and you hear it all the time, like I used to get a lot when like I was fighting with my ex, and my parents were just like, just follow what your heart says. Just follow your gut. Like, I don't care all the analytics or whatever's going on in the situation.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I can't tell you what to do. Whatever you deep down feel inside, and you know what you'll feel. Like, you'll either, but a lot of people still go against the grain. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
So like I did myself. So I was like, this is just an example. I was like, I know I'm not meant to be with this girl. Like, all we do is fight constantly. But, like, I'm being honest, like, she's so hot. Like, we like, when it's good, it's good. So I'm like, no, fuck it. Like, I'm just going to keep, and I'll just keep going back. And then it's not until mum and dad were like, just literally sit down. Like, we can see you're unhappy.
Yeah.
Like, what do you actually feel in your heart? And I was like, I fucking hate it. Like, and I literally just said that. And I was like, well, that's the answer. Do you know what I mean? So that is the answer for anyone listening. Just literally whatever you feel, just stick with it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And that's it. And like actually overcome, because I was in a very similar situation probably 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And it was like a long-term kind of thing. And someone said, it was like a life coach, and he's like, I actually trained him when I was a personal trainer.
Oh, nice.
He's like, Holly, you know what you want.
Yeah.
You just got to rip it off like a Band-Aid.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay. Because that's it. Like, it's an emotional pain that you're feeling, even though when you know it's not right. And it's easy for someone outside of that emotional attachment to say, why don't you just leave? Why don't you just do? And again, like we were talking about before, people won't take action until they're actually emotionally, mentally ready.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So interesting. So look, let's talk more about business. So you are a busy man. You're a very busy person. You've got a few things going on. So what businesses do you have at the moment?
Yeah, so the online coaching has been the business that is probably my main business, if that makes sense.
Yep.
So that's been going on for 3 years, good clientele. And then I've just been in the process of launching my fitness app.
Amazing.
So it's just basically still online coaching, but it's more in-depth videos of me training, some motivational speeches. So I've literally just launched that yesterday, which was a process. And then
Congratulations, that's awesome.
Thank you. And then the modeling shoots they've been hectic for the last 3 years.
Yep.
But I know that's not something that is long term. You know what I mean? It's probably another 2 years.
Yep.
So like I know that, and I've built other businesses around that. So I know when that dies off, I can go and fall back on something. But that does take up a lot of time right now. And then the podcast is more of a passion that I think will turn into a lot of revenue, even though the revenue is not the goal. That's not the reason behind it. It's the reason is I just love the feedback I'm getting. Like,
Yeah.
it's crazy. Like, I've never got more feedback off anything or more traction than just talking. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's a passion, and I'd like to hopefully take that to more motivational speaking. Still do the podcast, but get on stage and do events and stuff.
Yeah.
Done 3, but it's something I definitely want to do. And then I've just dipped into running fitness retreats too. So
Yeah, cool.
yeah, just a few little things, you know what I mean? And just yeah, I don't know. I really don't know what the future holds. Like, a lot of
Yeah.
people say, what's your 5-year goal? Or
Yeah.
I don't know, because every day is just so, do you know what I mean? Like, what I thought I'd be doing now 6 months ago is completely different. So yeah, I know what I would like to be doing, but 9 times out of 10 it doesn't happen. And then what people do is they set a 5-year goal, they don't achieve it, or they go down a different path, and then they get down and angry on themselves. So it's like I'm more of a small, goal person. Like, I'm talking like week to week.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, like last week I was like, for example, I want to smash this podcast out with Holly. I want to conquer that photo shoot. And that's all I think about. Just the week. If I've done the week, and then I set the next week. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So,
totally.
yeah.
Oh, I love that. It's cool. And I think as well, like, I think, what book is it? Think and Grow Rich, probably.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Think and Grow Rich, your mentality is that, you have this big desire, dream, and goal. And it might be you speaking on stage in front of 10,000 people on a specific topic, and that might be the vision, but you don't know what's going to happen in between to get there, right? You just have to trust the process and think, all right, what are my weekly goals that's going to get me closer to that big goal? And that's the thing, like, you don't have to plan out the next 5 years. You can have an idea, and I believe you just manifest it week by week, day by day.
Yeah.
Do you believe you've manifested the life you have right now, and are you currently living your dream life?
Yeah, I definitely manifested the life. I'm a massive believer in it. I manifest every day now. And 9 times out of 10, everything I manifested has come true. So why not? Am I living the dream life? No. I am on the way to living my dream life. I am building the blocks to living the life that I want. I love what I do, but it's not the dream life. The dream life is to... I'm still working very hard, whereas I feel like the dream life is you shouldn't, you know what I mean? Like, everything should be just coming in. You really do whatever you want on a day-to-day basis, which I do to an extent, but it's still a lot of things like that I wouldn't want to do if I woke up, but it's making the money, it's building the blocks. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
100%. What parts of your life right now are classed as living your dream life?
I would say helping people, like literally helping people is living my dream life. Being able to somewhat do what I want with my day. So, like, I can pretty much plan my day out however I want. Like, if I really didn't want to work tomorrow, but see, that's where I'm the opposite. Like, because I'm getting ahead, I kind of overwork because I just know I'm getting ahead.
Yeah.
But, like, if I didn't want to do anything tomorrow and I just wanted to relax, I could easily relax. I don't have to get up to an alarm. I don't have to go to bed at a certain time. I get to meet great people like you podcasting. I think that's, a dream life right now. So
there you go.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's amazing. And you originally lived at Sunshine Coast and now you're back at the Gold Coast. So why was that move?
So my parents still live in Noosa.
Oh, beautiful.
So I was living with them throughout all my steroid days, and then, kind of moved down here for, my ex. And then just kind of went back between the two because, like, I do love being with them. But, it's at the point in time where it's like, it's just too quiet back there. And I couldn't even be doing stuff like this. You know what I mean? Like, I don't even know if there's a podcast studio back there. Like,
I've asked, hey.
Like, it's just, I just find I've got into a really good rhythm now where I usually do my Monday to Friday here.
Yep.
And then every second weekend I go back Friday to Monday.
That's nice.
And then just... because I love it down here, but then this gets too overcrowded and you get a bit like wound up in it all.
Yeah.
So it's a good balance. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to be the same with Brisbane.
Yeah.
Go back to Brisbane, farm life, beach life, farm life.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I don't know, it's just so nice.
And obviously more friends here. Like,
Yeah.
I probably know like 3 people back there. Like, you just don't see anyone really.
Yeah.
So,
it's Sunshine Coast is so quiet compared to
Yeah.
the Gold Coast, but they've got different qualities, I guess. Look, I'm going to ask you 4 random questions.
Yep. I love it.
Just whatever comes to your heart, say it out. Okay, first one. What is your favorite quote, saying, or verse that you currently live by?
I'm just gonna be straight up with the one that I always say, which is dream it, believe it, achieve it.
Yep.
It's just if you put it into action, like the three little things, and you say it to yourself, and then you put the first thing into action. You have a dream. Everyone has a dream. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, I hope everyone has a dream. We do when we're kids. You know what I mean? So you dream it, and then you believe it. So the second, like, you got to break it down. But a lot of people, they don't believe it. They have a dream, for example, like, I want to be a doctor.
Yeah.
But then they go, oh, I can't study that long, or
All the
I
limiting
can't do
beliefs.
that. Do you know what I mean? I don't have the money to do that course, so they don't believe it. So they're already out of. They've done. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're not going to achieve it. So you got to believe it, and then if you believe it and you be consistent and you keep putting it into action, then you achieve it. So if you break it down, like, it's my first tattoo I ever gotten. I think it's cool.
I
You
love
know what
that.
I mean? Yeah.
That's cool. And it's just so simple, effective.
Yeah.
And you see it on, in the shops, you see
Yeah.
it on a card, and it's so simple and effective. But I think when you just stripped it apart,
Yeah.
like step by step.
And that's the thing with a lot of sayings and quotes. People they read them, but when you actually, like, put them, you know what I mean? When you actually dive in and, like, okay, why is this worded there? There's a reason behind it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's it.
So
I love that. That's awesome. What are your 3 daily habits? I think we've kind of already gone through this, that you would not trade for the world.
being able to do what I want with my day,
Yep.
being able to help people,
Daily habits. What are your
Daily-
daily
like-
habits? Like waking up on time, saying affirmations would be one of them, right?
oh, my daily habits. So affirmations, 100%. In most situations, just being grateful instead of being
Yeah.
ungrateful, and you could do that 100 times a day if you wanted to, but when you actually be grateful instead of being, not grateful, changes everything. And I think being positive, majority of the time instead of being negative. Like, I have stuff that I go through, I've got stresses, I've got stuff that I'm thinking about right now, but you have to put it into a positive. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
It's only just going to make your day worse. So if you're positive, you put everything that you is happening in your life into gratitude, and then you start your morning with affirmations. There's some 3 powerful tools.
Yeah, positivity is everything,
Yeah.
right? Because your thoughts control how you feel and act and react, and pretty much kind of diagnoses your day.
Yeah.
So what do you do besides affirmations and gratitude to stay positive? Because I actually think positive thought, positive action is a high performance habit. So yeah, what do you do to stay positive?
Surround myself with the right people.
Yeah.
Talk to the right people, hang out with the right people. I would say that is, in a core, that is why I'm positive, because the people that I talk to and I look up to and I listen to are positive. So if they're all negative, then I'm usually negative, myself. So
Yeah.
I think that's literally the reason I'm so positive.
Yeah, I love that. That's amazing. What would you say to someone who feels like they want to or going to give up right now?
Yeah, just don't. There's, I always say it's just one bad day. I've had, I had a shocking day yesterday, but I've woken up so good this morning. And it's like, I was on a chat with a good friend, and he was just like, imagine if, what was the need to try, take your life yesterday? Do you know what I mean? Like, you're so happy now and there's so much ahead of you. Like, all you got to do is just put off that 24 hours. And that's usually what it is. If you can put off that 24 hours, there's so much more. If you're sitting there and you don't think there's anything ahead of you, or you want to give up, or, you're thinking of committing suicide, it's just not worth it. Like, it's a selfish act almost. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like you're disappointing so many people, and you're letting yourself down. And I don't know. I think that's all you need. Like, there's just more ahead of you, so don't do it.
Yeah, I really like that actually, because everyone's got like their own, I guess, action steps for overcoming suicidal thought and this and that. But I love the fact that you can say to yourself, all right, I'm not going to feel like this forever. I'm going to give it 24 hours. I'm going to implement the habits. I'm going to go exercise. I'm going to go surround myself with the right people and then see how I feel in the morning. Because obviously you can guarantee yourself that you will feel better.
And that's all I did yesterday. Like I literally implemented some habits from what I've thought about. I woke up terrible. Like it's crazy. Like people message me and they're like, because I'm so positive and all of that, they're just like, oh, he mustn't go through anything. So then when I put that story up, people are like, wow, like that's like, I've been through that today. And I was like, yeah, it's completely normal. Like, and then I think it's good just to speak openly about it because people are like, fuck, I was suffering that, but I never hear anyone say it, or I never say it myself because I feel like I'm going to be the odd one out. But it's completely normal. And that's why if we all, I put at the end the hashtag, it ain't weak to speak. Oh, yeah. And we hear that all the time, but it's true. If we all speak and say like, we all help each other, I guarantee you won't have those suicidal thoughts or as much depression as what it would be without all of the community and helping each other.
That's it. And all it takes is for you to, that's a really big thing. Like when you're dealing with depression, anxiety and suicidal thoughts, like reaching out to someone and confronting someone and saying, hey, I'm not okay. That's really confronting. And what would you say to someone who really struggles with actually asking for help? Because when I was going through my depression, that was the biggest thing. Like I remember telling my mum, I was like, Mum, I want to commit suicide. I don't want to live anymore. And nothing happened. Yeah. I got no help whatsoever. So what would you say to those people who feel like they're asking for help? They're too scared to ask for help. Like, where did those people go and where do they fit in?
It's completely normal. Yeah. And I think if you actually ask for help, I had someone ask me for help the other day and he's like, I was too scared. Like I was literally in the gym. I was doing a set and he's like, I just don't speak it. I was like, just open up, bro. Like, and he opened up and he's like, fuck, I feel so much better, man. I was like, I don't care what you tell me. I don't care if I don't care what you tell me. Like if you open up, it's only going to make you feel better. And because I'm going to, help you through it, I think people just need to realize that there's nothing wrong with doing it. And that's it. Just do it. And 10 times out of 10, it's going to make the situation better. Oh yeah. So what are you losing? Like just don't fear of that judgment of, oh, what's Holly going to think if I tell her that I wanted to commit suicide yesterday morning, because I think you just got to be real and raw and true and you'll get the help back. Wow. Yeah. I love that. And that's it. Like, and I know, well, everyone, but I know men specifically, you guys hold a lot of emotion in because, men don't speak enough. Like, it's getting better though. It's getting a lot better. And mental health is becoming a lot more aware and speaking about it, this and that. But there are so many people still struggling, still with addiction. 100%. And if you're listening to this, know that you are not alone. And we're not just saying this because every other podcast also says this, but it's absolutely true. And it actually, again, is a habit that you have to build, just like going on a ride that you absolutely don't want to go on and you like feel sick to your stomach, but you do it and you finish it and you're like, oh, that was actually pretty cool. Yeah. Or like going to talk to that chick or whatever at the bar and you're like, oh, I don't want to do that. Yeah, you're nervous, but then you're like, what was I so nervous for? Like, that's it. It was just... Yeah, that's literally what it's like. It's like everything you're building up, you're hyping it up too much and it's not going to be as bad as what you think. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's it. And when you deal with anxiety and, overthinking, overwhelm, like those fears in your head can stimulate so fast and then that will be your trigger to not do it. We're almost there, but what is your definition of happiness, Jaxon? What definition of happiness? Big question. Yeah, wow. Just doing what truly makes me happy. I don't know. Like, so, do you know what I mean? Man, I'm going to throw it back at you. What's your definition of happiness? Yeah. Because that's what your book's about. So, oh, yeah. Yeah, what is your definition of happiness? Yeah, good question. The thing is, I do have a definition of happiness and I have my own definition, which is kind of cool. But yeah, the whole idea of 30 Days to Happiness is pretty much like the 30 habits that reconstruct your subconscious mind and the way you think every single day. So you will wake up happy every single day and never have suicidal thoughts pretty much ever again or feel out of place, right? Everyone's definition of happiness is completely different, which is really interesting. So every person I've asked on this podcast,
their definition of happiness is literally completely different. My definition of happiness is if you won the lotto tomorrow, you wouldn't be any happier than you are right now.
I like that.
That is my definition of happiness, knowing that nothing, like if you were sitting down, like there's a story in my book, and it's like if you were literally sitting down here right now and a massive hurricane came and you were like everything around you looked like it was just going to fall over. Yeah, you'd have a little bit of fear inside of you, but you'd still be pretty happy. Now, that's my definition of happiness, is knowing that no matter what you go through, you can still find contentment in that situation.
That's actually my definition now.
Yeah, there you go.
No, it actually is. Like now, I just didn't really think about it, but the lotto one's really good. And you hear it all the time, money can't buy happiness. Yeah. And I've been in that same situation, and it truly doesn't. Like you can have all these fancy things, but that's not the definition of happiness. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So it can be a significant like second or time in your life that will make you happy, but it's not a definition of happiness.
Yeah, well, that's exactly right. I really like that. And money buys opportunities.
Yeah.
Not so much happiness. But yeah, you can find happiness in everyday life, and it's actually just, again, doing the daily habits, the gratitude, the affirmations, the positive, surround yourself with the right people. Like that is absolutely key, because
it's a game changer.
Like you literally will start acting and thinking like them in like within a week, and it's just amazing.
Just energy too.
The energy,
like I have no time for negativity. I have no time for those people. Like when I removed that, like even just my two roommates, they're like the most positive, uplifting people. Like that's my two best friends now. It's like, wow. When I just go home, like it's like I might have had I had a big day yesterday. Like I did a massive shoot in Brisbane, and I got home late and I was absolutely buggered. And I just walked into the house and they were just like, they saw my story and they were just like, fuck yeah, you're smashing your work, bro. Like we're really proud of you.
Oh, that's so
and
nice.
Then they had like one of my favorite drinks there. Like this is just a prime example.
Wow.
Had like an energy drink there, and I love them. And he's like, here, have one of these. And then he's like, I'm going to go off and do some cardio. And I was so tired. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to join you. And then I went and did it. And it was just...
You would have felt so good.
But it was like if they weren't there, I would have just walked in, been like, thrown my bag on the thing, went to bed. But that energy picked me up. And it's just, when you have that every single day, that's when you get ahead. Do you know what I mean?
That is a perfect example of what community can do, right?
It's crazy. Like but then you do it on a day-to-day basis, because I'm around those people every single day. It's like all I can do is level up. Like
literally.
That's what we say now when we get home. We're just like, let's just level up. Like, and we just every day we just
help each other.
I love it. Like
that's cool. I really love that, and that's inspiring, I guess, as well to like other people. Is there anything that you want to add to this podcast or anyone listening?
No, not really. Like there's so many topics in depth we can go in, but basically just scratch the surface of what we did, and just more the mental health is that, if you are suffering, maybe implement some strategies that we said, open up to someone and just speak out and tell them. It doesn't have to be a best friend, or it doesn't have to be your mother or father. It can be anyone, and just express what you're feeling. Know that you're worthy and you're loved. And the 24-hour one is a massive one.
I love that.
If you're literally sitting here right now, and obviously this episode isn't going out right now, but if you're listening to it and you're like, fuck, like there's just nothing for me on this earth. Like, why am I here? What do I have ahead of me? You know what I mean? Just know that it's just a bad day, and just get through the day. Go out, exercise, speak to someone, go to bed early, wake up tomorrow. I guarantee you'll feel a little bit better, if not 10 times better. And just for everyone to believe in themselves and just chase the dreams they want to. Stop, living the life you don't want to live. You've only got one life. Go out and make it happen, and chase whatever your dreams and your desire is to be.
I love that. And I think you're a perfect example of someone who's, been through it all, came out on the other end, and is also still saying, like, I'm not living the absolute dream life right now. Like, I still have room for growth, and I'm still growing every day, and I'm getting that 1% better. Like, no one's perfect, and I think you just show it really well, especially on social media. Like, you are raw, you're real. The fact that you talk about it, like, it's inspiring, right?
Thank you.
And I think when people listening to this and they know you, for example, they follow you. And I loved the fact that we did talk about, like, you know, what the misconceptions of what people, you know, have about you and your, like, I guess your physical persona and who you actually really are. Just take that on board. I think everyone needs to really listen to that and be really
Oh, like,
that.
yeah, it's slowly changing, but, you know, there's so many people in the population that they would never listen to this. So, like, I'm going to go to the supermarket after this. I guarantee you someone will, every single day, like every day, someone's like, I can see in my head, they're talking, you know what I mean? And it's just like, I can't do anything about it. Do you know what I mean? So it's on them. So I just smile now. You know what I mean? That's all I can do.
But you know who you are. You know
I know,
who you
and
are.
that's why it used to affect me very hard. But then I was like, but I think why it affected me so hard is because I knew I wasn't a good person back then. I knew what they were probably judging me for was true, if that makes sense.
Because you're judging yourself.
So, like, if I had walked into the shops and you know how you can just tell when someone, oh, look at that criminal or something. And it's like, you know, look at that drug dealer, you know, he's probably, you know, off to steal something. And it's like, I probably was off to do that. Yeah. And then it plays in your head. But when you know you're physically going in there, you're buying groceries, you're a good person, you've done nothing wrong. I think it's just like, why do I let it affect me? Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
I love that. You've
it's
grown
completely
so
different.
Much.
Yeah.
You've grown so much the last, I don't know how many years it's been since you were in that position, but you should just be really proud of yourself of how far you've come and how many people you're now inspiring.
You should be. You brought out a book. You're ahead of me. No, thank you so much for having me on. And for all my audience, if you could go check out Holly's book, 30 Days of Happiness. I'm still yet to read it, but I'm keen. And just give this podcast a like, give it a share, tag us, and most importantly, reach out if you're struggling.
I love that. Thank you so much. And lastly, where can people find you besides Instagram?
Just my Instagram.
Cool. Amazing. Instagram. All right. Well, go like and comment on all his stuff and follow him because he will inspire you every single day. So thanks so much for jumping on. It's been so awesome.
Thanks, Holly. I appreciate it.